Welcome, Sojourners, to the Women's Leadership Mindset Series. My name is Teresa Page. I am your host and looking forward to spending these next few moments with all of you. We have a lot of work to get done on today, but first, allow me to invite you to connect with me by subscribing to my website and YouTube channel. Connect and follow me on LinkedIn, and always feel free to contact me directly via email at teresakpagellc@outlook.com. So what is our goal? Well, as an author, speaker, coach, and mentor, my mission is to help professional women renew their leadership mindset with fresh fire and purpose through the mediums of leadership development and coaching services. However, the Women's Leadership Mindset Series is a new initiative intended to spotlight powerful women leaders and how they serve the world through their professions and purpose. So with the goal to help women realize their unfulfilled dreams and re-energize the leaders they always were, this platform is designed to enhance, empower, educate, equalize, and even emancipate as our special guests share their entrepreneurial stories, provide valuable resources, and guidance in a caring, professional, and impactful manner. So, let's get down to business. Hi there, leaders. Thank you so much for joining me on today. There's a couple of things that's on my heart that I just wanted to quickly share. I saw a clip, even though I didn't see the entire program. I did see a clip of the Grammys, and I heard a little bit of the artist Bad Bunny's acceptance speech for one of the awards that he won, and he was speaking to what's actually happening in our culture in regards to the way that our country is moving in regards to immigration and some of the terrible things that has happened in the most recent days and weeks, which has been, detrimental and tragic, and it's really hurting the soul of our country. So, I don't think there's a debate about that. If you're a human being and, and if you have eyes and ears, there is no way, it's almost impossible not to be troubled by the things that we are seeing, and that a lot of our citizenship and even immigrants are experiencing right now in our country. One of the things that I love about his message is, with all of these influences of what feels like hatred, there's one source that is more powerful than hate, and that is love. And we have been hearing this for years, that love is stronger than hate. It is stronger than hate. And with my passion to be able to employ love as the ultimate success factor, to renew women's leadership mindset with fresh fire and purpose, I could not agree more. One of the things that I wholeheartedly believe and that I have learned in my own experiences, and the only reason why I exist and write is because I have learned that love is the most powerful, the most diverse, effective, and highly performing resource that is available to the human family. It is our superpower. And it's not just an emotion. And I think that's really important. It's not just an emotion. And I believe that is the foundation of everything that I talk about is that we have to learn how to be skillful, to utilize love beyond that emotional space. As much as it fills the emotional space, we then have to learn how to turn love into a skill set. How do we turn it into a competency? And so, from my point of view as an author that's on an entrepreneurial journey, I am learning a lot. I am I am definitely learning a lot. So while Bad Bunny may have been speaking from an artist perspective, then how can I speak from an artist as well as an entrepreneur, still an emerging entrepreneur's perspective concerning love and what we need to do? One of the things I will just have to say that I don't know, it just seems like since the turn of 2020, our entire global family we have been living in extraordinary times. I think all of humanity's history has been extraordinary. But I will just have to say, since 2020 up until this point, it just seems like we've been living in ordered chaos. And it doesn't matter what side of the world that you reside in, we have all experienced, whether it's the effects of the COVID pandemic, war conflicts, inflation, growing unemployment rates, social unrest, geopolitical upsets, threats of oligarchy, and so on and so forth. And now the terrors of immigration and what is happening. And I would just have to say that in the I would say, last 4 to 5 years, I have had the privilege of being able to engage and encounter a vast concentration of leaders. And while I have come in contact with some of the most amazing leaders that has that I've had the opportunity to work with, work for, or just in this space where leaders are becoming my virtual colleagues and collaborators and partners. I have also experienced a vast concentration of leaders that absolutely, in all honesty, sucks. And in so many ways, I have discovered that the quality of leadership has declined. Now, I'm still talking about love here, so hang with me. I just have to say that, I've it is a rude awakening. We're having a rude awakening of leadership from all levels, from all of our domains of industry, whether it's education or finance or government or religion or whatever. We're having a rude awakening about leadership. Now, from my point of view, I have learned that most leaders, they don't even know the basic knowledge of their business. They're unwilling to improve their understanding about their business or even the industry that they're in. In some ways, you're finding that the worst type of client, the worst type of client or the worst type of customer, there's this thing about uh, hiring, mass hiring of cheap labor versus investing in the right kind of talent. that aligns best with their organizational values. I have seen where they are the catalyst of all types of hatred, different types of oppressions that run rampant within their organizations, and they have the nastiest of attitudes, which further exposes the extent of their ignorance. And there's this odd sense of entitlement, but yet it cowers when it comes to accountability. And I have to tell you, and I don't know if it's because I'm still in my Rebecca from Sunnybrook Farm phase of my life. I have to say that I have been disheartened by these engagements and some of the experiences that I've had personally. And then, of course, what I see on the broader scale. And the thing of it is that I cannot rightly determine if these attitudes was always a thing pre-pandemic, and in probably some cases they were, or or to understand whether or not these current attitudes and actions um, are a result of the pandemic and the effects of the pandemic. And in all honesty, it's definitely hard to reconcile one way or the other. But, you know, I've just come to the point that it doesn't matter at this point. And I'm also having to learn that I'm having to reconcile to get over my shock and over what is disappointing and what's disheartening. I am beginning to understand that in the bumpy days that we're living right now and the bumpy days that are ahead of us, for those of us, regardless of where we are in the world, for those leaders who are either entrepreneurs or you're over a nonprofit organization or you're over a faith-based organization, whether you have a business, whether you have a movement, whatever your sphere of influence is, it is up to us. There are certain things that's not going to happen on macro levels, such on the government levels or some of these higher up levels. It seems that it's going to have to be more so grassroots so we can have a groundswell. It is up to us, leaders, whatever capacity, whether you have a title or you don't have a title, all of us individuals are leaders, and there is a sphere of influence that every last one of us has has some type of influence or affluence over. There's a people, a territory, a region of those who pay attention to what we say and do. And what I'm saying is that it is up to us. It is up to us, the people, the leaders, the entrepreneurs, the authors, the content creators, and anyone in between. It is time for us to tap into our ingenuity because we need to be able to revive confidence in true transformational leadership more than anything. That is the top of, I feel, of our assignment is to revive confidence, public trust, and true transformational leadership. And for those of us who are operating in the marketplace, it is important that we begin to produce uh, new, tangible goods and services so that we're able to bring relief to the new challenges that are hitting our nations. It is also important that we find a way to reduce unemployment rates in our diverse industries that has been exacerbated by blanket reductions in force. It is important also that we replicate our leadership, that we replicate new enterprises to the marketplace to help with these types of assignments. It is important for us to revitalize the global economy despite tariffs, despite trade wars. It is also important that we level up the generation of wealth among the general citizenship. We're going to have to figure out a way to level the playing field, the generation of wealth, so that we can leverage that amongst the general citizenship. It is no way that the world should move by the whims of a few that has a few extra dollars than us. I have said it more than once that I believe that wealth is a standard. It is not an anomaly. It is a standard for the global family. And all of us has to figure out a way, one way or another, to take what is amazing about us and to package it into something that we can take into the marketplace to be able to create wealth for ourselves, our families, and that we're able to supply certain needs for our community as well as for the global family at large. It is up to us. So then the question becomes, how can we how can we as leaders become skillful in love? How can we become skillful not only in love, but how can we become skillful in translating love into our organizational frameworks? How can we become skillful in translating love into our organizational frameworks so that we can also influence our culture? The key is learning how to employ love as a competency or as a skill set. And as I mentioned, and as I mentioned, love is the most powerful, it is the most diverse, it is the most effective and high performing resource that's available to us. Love can leverage inequities in our hallways and sit at the head of our boardroom tables to maximize our use of love as a skill set, as a skilled asset. We must be willing and must be able to reimagine love beyond an emotional conduit for our heart matters. And also consider that love has knowledge, skills, and abilities that we can implement into our business models. If we understand that love is all powerful, then we will be able to understand that love is unlimited in authority or influence. If we can understand that love is all present, then we can learn how to figure out how to apply love's presence in all places at all times. If we understand that love is all knowing, then we'll understand that love is infinite in awareness. Love is infinite in understanding. Love is infinite in insight. If we can understand that love is creator of all, then we will understand that love is unlimited in creative power. And if we can understand that love is perfect in all goodness, then we will understand that love is unlimited in benevolence. So when you're talking about having access to power like this, then yes, love becomes a game changer for us. It becomes a game changer for us, regardless of where we're positioned in the marketplace. Love becomes a game changer that gives us a competitive edge so that we can be powerful in leadership. When you have access to love's authority and love's influence, then it allows us to be powerful in leadership so that we're capable of building cohesive relationships and closing the gaps of communication between C-suite leadership, middle managers, direct reports, and our stakeholders, internal and external. It will also give our leadership, whether they're C-suite leadership, C-suite leaders, or community leaders, to begin to replicate their leadership by pouring all of the measures of their success, their thought leadership, and expertise into others, whether it's their team or individuals in their community. If we can do this, then we can boost our team and our community's leadership statementship. We can boost our team's performance. We can boost our organization's operations, our revenue, as well as our profitability. This is the kind of access that love provides for us in our organizations. Whether you have a team of individuals or even if you're a solopreneur and you're still building a platform of influence to those who are listening to you, your listeners. Love helps us to become powerful in leadership. With access to love and love's ability to be present at all times and in all places, it then allows us to be fully present for our teams so that we are able to cultivate a rich culture in leadership development, equal opportunity, equal promotional opportunity, autonomy, livable wage, as well as safety. If we do this, we can enhance our team or our community's engagement. We can enhance morale. We can also enhance loyalty. When we have access to love's creative ability, then that allows us to be innovative in business, to be innovative in whatever work that we're doing so that we can develop and improve upon our goods, our services with high value proposition towards our customers, towards our clients, towards to those that we serve. This will help to foster long-term relationships. This will help to foster long-term repeat business. With access to love being all knowledgeable, the fact that love is all knowledgeable and that is unlimited in insight and awareness and knowledge, then it helps us to be knowledgeable in industry trends. so that we can stay on top of technology enhancements, so we can stay on top of certain policies and processes, procedures, industry regulations, so that we can remain compliant, we can remain relevant, we can remain competitive. And finally today, if we are able, with access to love's goodness, then we can be benevolent in all of our community service in ways that we choose to give back. It can enhance upon our philanthropy measures. It will help us to keep sustainability promises. And this will help boost our brand awareness, whether within our virtual and local communities, to let them know that we actually care and that we're willing to invest a portion of what we may have taken in, a portion of our wealth, and invest it into those things that we believe in. So more than anything, learning how to do business with love is more important than anything right now, especially for those of us who are choosing to be in the marketplace. We are in a unique position where we're able to help abolish certain inequities just by our presence. The way that we choose to do business, the relationships that we choose to create, what we choose to give back into our communities, or the knowledge, the thought leadership that we choose to share with those that may be listening or reading what we put out here into the world. So leaders, it's up to us. It's up to us to be the leaders that love has always known us to be. It's time to take our competitive edge and to get to work to bring relief to the human family. So if you would love to learn more about this, how love is our ultimate success factor, whether you're a man, even though it's a women's leadership retreat, even if you're a man that wants to know how to do this, even in your business, that needs to be renewed in your own leadership, it is our right to come into the room with me, with us, because we have to be able to do this together, men and women. Check the information in the bio. Also visit my website, teresakpage.squarespace.com, so that you are able to subscribe and stay in the know for upcoming events. Check out the event calendar to stay in the know. If you can't make it to the one here in the first quarter, that's all right. We're going to be in other places. But it's important for us to learn how to be able to use love to our advantage. Love is a superpower. If we can learn more about this knowledge, this skills, and this ability, then we can change the world. So I want to say thank you so much for joining me on today. You know how it is. As always, here's to the journey. And let's move forward.